interest in the HKUST Global Business Program. My name is Ted Kun Ko, the Program Director, and today we are delighted to have 5 GBA students here to share their experience with you. And we hope that by the end of this video, you have a good understanding of what this program is about.
My name is Rick, and I'm a Year 2 student admitted through the IP program.
My name is CY. I'm a Year 4 student admitted through DSE.
My name is Megan. I'm also a Year 4 student admitted through DSE.
Juliana. I'm a Year 3 student admitted through international qualifications from Taiwan.
Hi everyone, my name is Afra. I'm a Year 4 student, also admitted through the IB program.
Right now, we'd like to get some of the students to share their experience with 2 courses that they've taken recently. So let's start off with the Year 2 course, Global Business Analysis. So Juliana, you took this course very recently. Can you briefly share your experience with us?
So I think this course is very useful in terms of telling you about real case studies, because the professor come from industries that would really teach you what are the tools, for instance, like puppetry or hypothesis tree, that will really be used in when they're working. And they will split into 2 parts. The first is about identifying the problem of the business, and also how to create different kinds of strategies. And the second is how to measure and evaluate your success and quantify the results. And you will be working with a lot of different kinds of people in GBUS, so you will make a lot of friends throughout.
So what do you find most challenging about this course?
I think it will be working with different kinds of people, because GBUS, even though we only have like 50 something in one cohort, there's still some people that I haven't met or not familiar with. But through this course, you will be randomly allocated into different groups, so you have the opportunity to work with different kinds of people.
So what would be your main takeaway from this course after you had done it last semester?
I think it's don't assume you know the business. Like, take every case very seriously and try to look into what is different in every case, and don't just assume with your background knowledge.
Okay. So that is the Global Business Analysis course that all Year 2 students have to take. The other course that we'll talk about right now is the Capstone project, which is what Year 4 students have to do before they can graduate from this program. So CY, you're working on the Capstone project right now. Can you tell us briefly about what you're doing?
Yeah. So a Capstone project essentially is taking the skills we've learned through courses like 2010 and actually helping new businesses to solve problems. And I think the best thing about it is actually working as professional consultants. And I think it's something students like us shouldn't take for granted. So like in these courses, we craft a lot of cases, we do a lot of analysis, but in the end, it's more like a piece of homework. We're not really making impact. So it's a bit like, imagine really like playing those detective games. And one day a crime actually happens and you actually have to solve some. It feels like that.
Afra, you're also doing a Capstone project this semester. A little bit about what you're doing.
Sure, so I am working in a different client's project for instance, right? So my client is essentially a multinational coffee house, and it's very difficult for us to basically assess at the get-go what the main challenge would be. So it involves systematic analysis, combining skills that we've learned previously from other GBUS courses. But I would say one of the key things we learn is also the fact that project management is an important thing required in the Capstone project. So what I mean by this is essentially what you might view as admin or organizational tasks really end up taking a lot of your time, and being better at that in the starting few weeks would really save you heaps of work.
So apart from academic, I think one thing that many students are interested about with regards to GBUS is the global exposure, right? So let's first talk about the study trips that the Global Business Program has organized. So both Rick and Juliana, you all went on a very recent study trip to Japan in June. So what would be the main highlight for you, Rick?
So I think the main highlight for me was, so we went to Tokyo, and we have a partner school there called Waseda. And on one of the days, there was a joint school case competition. We grouped up with students from Waseda, and it was just interesting to work with different people from a different culture with a different work style. So that was a great experience as a whole. But then I think the highlight from that is after the case competition, our group mates and students from Waseda brought us to see the nightlife in Tokyo. So they brought us to their favorite restaurants, their favorite shopping districts, and it was just a good time.
One of the different things is that we went to visit a lot of different kinds of companies and Tokyo Stock Exchange. Because I've been to Tokyo multiple times, but as a tourist, we'll usually go to, for example, like Asakusa, for instance, but we never go into like companies. So during the GBA stage, we actually visited Asahi and then Tokyo Stock Exchange, and you can really see the difference of Japanese companies and Hong Kong companies.
Right. So apart from the study trip that we do, I think another thing that many GBA students are excited about is the exchange program. So Megan, you went to an exchange last year, so can you tell us a little bit about it?
So I actually went to exchange in Los Angeles, so it's University of Southern California, and that's where LeBron James' son went last year as well. So I think when choosing where to go for exchange, it's actually more about choosing between Europe and United States. So the rationale for me is I can always go travel in Europe, right? But I want a really university life experience that I can't get it in Hong Kong. So that's why I chose United States with the city with the best weather. And I think the main difference I experienced is actually the campus atmosphere in terms of both the sports culture and lessons, how the relationship between teachers and students, they're really close and they're really not afraid of dumb questions. People in the United States, they are genuinely curious about the subject they want to learn. So that's the main difference I saw.
So what about you, Afra? You also went to the East Coast of US for exchange.
That's right. So yeah, I was on the other coast. I was at the University of Pennsylvania. We're in School of Business for a semester. And the reason that I chose this university was because I wanted the full exposure to a top, world-class finance education, complementing my studies in Asia with, an American perspective, because a lot of our graduates do work for sort of multinational firms. And I think one of the best things from my exchange was definitely meeting people from all around the world. I would say in the US, that's definitely a plus point. And we see people who grew up in the United States as well, but are also from all over the world. And we really learn a lot from their cultural experiences, their perspectives on, serious issues around the world.
GBA's graduate can pursue their careers in various industries and various business sectors. So you can check out our website to look at the job placement for our graduates. Right now, we can spend some time to talk about internships. So the Year 4 students, I'm sure you have done some internships over the last few years. So CY, do you want to share something about what you have done and how does the GBA's program helps?
So my last internship was in sales and trading, and before that I've done multiple things like equity research and even crypto. And I think what was in common for all my 4 internships throughout university was when I told people, oh, I'm from GBUS, they would say something like, okay, then I expect you have GBUS quality. So what is GBUS quality? I think by that they mean something that's surrounded soft skills, like your presentation skills, your PowerPoint skills, your team working skills. And I think it really makes sense because if you think about the courses we do, we work with different types of people. We always analyze things together. We develop our critical thinking through all of these courses. So after repeating all of these exercises every year, you naturally form that kind of talent or that kind of skills that every industry actually really appreciates. I guess I can talk about 2 parts, as in how GBUS helped me get internships and also how GBUS helped me survive internships. So for how GBUS helped me get internships, I think the most difficult part is getting our first internship because basically our CV is blank, you have nothing on it. So the GBUS alumni network actually comes into great play because a lot of our alumni, they do startups and they're willing to take on the risk of getting a year 1 newbie without any experience in business. So that's when having a GBUS name is really important. And also when you're applying for bigger jobs, for example, your year 3 summer job, it's really important to ask your seniors who have worked there before for the tips, interview tips, anything. So the GBUS network plays a great role here. And for the second part, as in how to survive in an internship, I actually worked in one of the US banks in private banking. So essentially what I did was, what they do is to help really rich people manage their wealth. And a big part there was coffee chatting. So they expect you to talk with everyone on the floor. And on the first day on the job, a lot of GBUS alumni who are on the floor, they actually came to me and offered me a lot of tips and how to survive throughout the 9 weeks. So I think it's just kind of this GBUS bonding makes you more easily to be blending into a new community when there are seniors you know. So GBUS is really important.
So Rick and Juliana, you all joined GBUS relatively recently. So what do you think is the most unexpected or surprising thing about GBUS?
So I think going into GBUS, on the surface, GBUS has a reputation to me be very academically driven. But I think once I got in, I realized that although there's a big emphasis on academics, but because GBUS, each cohort is so small, there's also an emphasis on community. So, like for example, my cohort is around 30 to 35 people, but we're all very close. When the semester starts and when the semester ends, we always grab a meal together. So I think that's the thing that surprised me the most in terms of GBUS being this very close community with a lot of people there to support you.
I think I can totally agree on that. And we also have a lot of like GBUS community activities like bowling bar every year. And there's also sometimes like Christmas parties where people come together and share gifts. And I think another thing is that really surprised me is how GBUS people really work hard and play hard. So I remember last semester when we were doing 2010, we actually had to present the next day on a Saturday, 9 a.m. And we worked till really late at like 1 a.m. And then they suddenly asked me if I just want to like play poker for like another few hours. But then we went to present and we actually were really energetic. So that just really shows how we really want to be academically well, but we also want to enjoy ourselves.
Okay, so this is from our year 2 students, all right? They do crazy things during the semesters as well. So for our year 4 students, you're going to be graduating soon. So what do you think will be one thing about GBUS that you miss most, when you leave UST?
Well, I think it's definitely town halls and your jokes in town halls.
Yeah, TK makes people sing if they come to town hall late. So that would be the thing we miss most.
And I think, yeah, like Julian mentioned, we have lots of student gatherings organized by our different GBUS initiative teams. And I think those are really fun moments when you not only mingle with your own peers, but also our seniors or juniors. GBUS is really like a big family, and I think everyone feels very belonged here, and that's something I really appreciate too.
I think one of the things that we'll definitely miss is the community that we have formed here in GBUS. Something that I noticed during exchange, you might agree with me on this, is that a lot of the top institutions, it's not really about one course or one feature of the program that they have that makes the course special, but rather it's the culture or community that we have formed that tends to pass on over the years. What I mean by this is that when you're surrounded by a lot of students who are motivated to work hard and thrive for excellence, we tend to feel motivated to do the exact same. And so I think through that culture, we have been benefited a lot in various aspects of our lives through this GBUS culture where we're basically motivated to become the best versions of ourselves. And I think being in that kind of a community is something that we'll all miss a lot after graduating.
I hope this video is helpful for you to know more about the GBUS program.
Feel free to check out more about us on our website and social media platforms.
And we look forward to your application.